could they get it so goddamn wrong? This video is a little bit more of that late night show approach, and before we go any further into the conversation of Jaguar versus Porsche, I think it is important to mention that none of this has anything to do with anything PC or anything about some sort of social message. It is completely about the marketing campaigns and the content and design being shown in those marketing campaigns. So that being said, I do also want to mention that I am completely positive that one of the brands has completely lost the plot. So if you haven't been following the marketing world news yet, or haven't seen a Jaguar rebrand, Jaguar is planning 3 EV cars, and so that seems like a pretty logical time to consider some sort of brand revamp or a complete rebrand in their case. If you're a Jaguar executive or the CMO, you're at a point of the past and about to go into the breakthrough of the future with this technology that people have been waiting for years, specifically from your brand. But what Jaguar should have really embraced was the roots of their brand and where they came from. Instead of adding a sleek and dynamic touch to their already existing brand, well, we already saw what unfolded. But before we go into full criticism mode, I think it is important to consider that Jaguar's marketing team has been having hits after hit after hit, and their executives are also part of the lineups of some other brands that have had great designs, marketing campaigns, and other stints. So, were the decisions really made in the back of the creative office or at the board level? I'll let you decide in the comments.
They say Brits play the best villains. But what makes a great villain? Firstly, you need to sound distinct.
Since Jaguar failed to embrace the British roots of where they come from, and the fact that they're even saying that this new brand is a lot more focused on luxury is quite ridiculous, because the content campaign looks like they're featuring people that are just uninterested in the car and are more interested about whatever they're taking part of. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and the colors aren't in a design language anything luxury. I mean, I'm at a loss for words on how they could make such decisions. So let's pivot to a more inspirational side of the industry. Nearly at the same time as the Jaguar rebrand, Porsche launched a social media campaign with none other than Aime Leon Dore, and safe to say that's been a hit. Aime Leon Dore, or in this video I'll call it ALD for short, they will be mentioned in a separate video on this channel because a lot of what they do is a work of art, specifically in the clothing space. But before we go any further in this video, let's take a look at some of their work with Porsche and without. This project specifically is focused on a bespoke restoration of a 993 turbo Porsche, and I mean, I'll let you be the judge of how that turned out. And this is actually not the first time that ALD and Porsche have collaborated to restore and redesign a Porsche model. Nearly by all standards, Porsche is considerably a larger brand than Aime Leon Dore, and market cap, following, regions, everything. But in a very specific way, ALD is the brand that the Porsche executives were dreaming of when they were coming up with their marketing strategy, a brand they needed a collaboration with. See, it's because Porsche got it so right and Jaguar at the same time got it so damn wrong, all in a matter of few key decisions. The point I'm trying to make here is you don't need to change the foundation. You don't need to build a new one. You just need a fresh face to come build upon what you've already made. To the public, Aim Leon Dore is a brand with a taste, and a classic taste at that, an exact match of Porsche. And of course, a luxurious price and price tag, so most likely the customer base that's buying ALD can also look at affording a Porsche. However, it isn't about the price tag or the clothing itself, it's about the way ALD markets and puts out content. That is exactly what needs to revive the spirit within Porsche, and they've done that. They've basically just replicated what ALD does all the time now, combined with Porsche and in a Porsche campaign. The courage, the ability to go to market and make a splash is always within Porsche, so all they needed to do was, again, the keyword of revive it. Jaguar did not focus on reviving anything that they already had in their brand, and they just focused on building something completely new. The ability for giant brands to actually recognize that the trait they're looking for and the trait they're looking to display to the market that is already within them, it is extremely tough, and we've seen that again and again with rebrands. The oversimplification of the logo, of the colors, it's been done again and again, all made to look more modernistic, all made to look more technological. But so many brands, alike with Porsche, already had it within them, and they just decided to lose it. They had the start button, they could have pushed it, and they could have reawakened what was already there. Instead, they decided to look for a new foundation. The main point of this video is that as brand designers or owners, it is the worst thing to conjure characteristics that aren't about our brand or that have never existed within our brands. I'm not part of the Jaguar driving club, or I don't own one and have never been interested in owning a Jaguar car, but I'd wager that a potential owner or a current owner is not a big fan of the Jaguar campaign. But it's no surprise that the outcome was so off. The formula and the creative outputs were wrong from the very beginning. In a search for luxury, Jaguar did not attempt to create scarcity through a lack of cars and to focus on maybe pricing out a certain part of the market. Instead, they created scarcity by moving away from itself, moving away from the brand, moving away from the audience and the community that they've built for dozens of years. It's almost as if the board thought, we must be getting new customers because our old customers will refuse to buy from us. And I don't mean to get conspiratorial whatsoever, but it almost feels like the board at Jaguar analyzed what it is that the other EV players were doing, and I'm not going to name specific companies, and all they based their rebrand on was, let's go against the grain, let's go and push against what those companies are doing, because if people hate those companies, then they'll buy from us, which is insanity. Long story short, Jaguar saw one thing, decided to do the opposite, and completely remove the heritage from their brand. Now, I wouldn't panic yet if you're a Jaguar owner or interested in the brand, and this is not the hate. Let's hope that this iconic brand comes back, but rather that's the current outlook, and they've doubled down on it on media so far. There's simply nothing more imperative than knowing your roots. Even if they're rotten and old, you just have to plant a new tree with that same seed. And you definitely cannot turn a wolf from a fucking bird. Hope you have enjoyed this late night version of the series and analyzing brands. If you have, check out the other videos where we went into more positive light on certain brands and campaigns. And again, if you've liked the video, drop a comment, drop a like, and always do subscribe. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Hope you join us early, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Well, with none other than Aim Leon Dore. Fuck, totally mispronounced that.